I've never gone for money, but you do need a certain amount if you're lucky. It is very difficult when you haven't got any. So far, I call it the life force has been very good to me. I've never come on, I've come on most people might call real hard times, but like when I first moved to the bush, it was funny. It wasn't because I couldn't get a job. I was married and had a couple of kids. It was because they wouldn't rent places. There was a housing shortage, and people wouldn't rent unless you had a job. So I used to say I was self-employed, but they couldn't. So anyway, so I managed to get a loan and bought a block of land out near Coonabarabran, about 500 k's from Sydney, and I'd been to the tip a couple of weeks before, and someone had thrown away a lot of rusty old iron, you know, the corrugated iron, and so I picked that up. I thought, well, take that down there, and so within 3 weeks had a cabin with this iron on it. Some of the neighbours come along and they said, oh, this is cool, this is like my granddad used to do, and they gave us old wood burning stoves and stuff like this. So really they were really good. It was like going way in the past. And so really that's how I got out of the city. It wasn't because I couldn't get a job, because I could, but I couldn't get a place to live because renting was such a problem. Now I've done this all wrong, so what I'm going to do I'm going to turn around and go back the other way, because the bit I meant to show you I missed somehow. It must be me chattering along that does it, but who cares? We're only out here for the fun of it, and I really hope that microphone is working this time, because that is such a pain in the ass. Oops, mind out, birdie. So that was how I ended up in the bush. I was about 28 at that time, and really enjoyed the bush. Beautiful mountains. Had the oldest car. One time it was really funny because my car broke down, and I again didn't have hardly any money. So I needed a new engine. So my wife wanted to go to Sydney as well. She said, oh, I want to go to Sydney. Well, we can't. The car doesn't have an engine. Anyway, so we went around all the off. It was a Holden car, and they were pretty thick on the ground. Went around to some of the neighbours, and there this guy had a Holden engine. Been sitting for 10, 15 years. It was a very old one, under a sheet of tin in the backyard, or on his property. So grabbed hold of that, put it in, it went as well, so that was pretty good. So quite a lot of things. I had some very interesting experiences, which I'll talk about. I really want to do, that's what I want to do, is just talk about some of the older stuff from someone who hasn't quite lived the way that most people do live. It's really nice to see all these people out and about. And, I should stop and have a cup of coffee, but I may not worry this time. I might just buzz around, wait till I get home and have a coffee, because I don't want to go in the mountains, as I said, because there'll be potholes galore and stuff washed all over the roads. We have potholes that you can lose yourself in. over here. Our roads are fantastic when you do look at it, and that's the other thing. Talk about life. I didn't pay for these roads, even though I had to pay an awful lot of rego and stuff like that. But how beautiful is it? How lucky are we to have these roads, especially a country like Australia that is so big. And they have now. I went on a trip halfway around Australia, right through the centre and then across 4 states or so. And it was tarred all the way. How can you afford to tar everything like that? Like, we haven't been going that long. So if anyone complains about the roads in Australia, they shouldn't. It's unbelievable. And I still don't know how they managed that one. But I'm very glad they did. It's the greatest thing you can have is some beautiful, when we're in the mountains, they're really beautiful roads. And but this is a lovely area. And so it takes a while to get in that you're allowed out. I've been going stir crazy, not able to get out. The yard as muddy and water as you can get. So anyway, so that was it, roughly normal. So even though I'm a lot of ways not normal, because there's certain things, but I still think that I'm normal, and I know it, especially this age thing. It's crazy because I observe things, and the things you do when you're this age and the things you do when you're that age, we're like a load of road robots. We all do it, but I'm not. That's one of the things I think is that we have to deprogram ourselves from lots of things. But there are other things I don't want to deprogram myself about, so we can do. Back we go again. Maybe it was just a shorter. I thought it was a bit longer than that, but no, must have been shorter. I haven't been over here, so for a while. When I was teaching the kids to drive, I'd come over here all the time. Fancy horse. We'll do that again. No, we won't. We'll go down here. Second Avenue Realty. Now that's a game to be in, especially around here. Say about 10 or so years ago, maybe 15, not 100% sure, you could buy a house here for 70 to 80,000. Now, not this area, that'd be a little bit more than maybe 100 grand here, but around where I am, 70, 80, they're worth 300 now, 1,000. Where the money comes from, I have no idea at all. Well, this is pretty enjoyable. Ah, something going on there. Learn to swim. That's one thing, I can sink like a rock. People tried to teach me to float. That was an impossible task. I'm really good at sinking. So, and it's funny because sometimes I think I'm full of a lot of wind anyway, so you'd think that I'd float very easy. There's our bridge again, you can see it. So this still is again just trying to take advantage of the fact it's not absolutely belting down. Yesterday it was 100%. Getting out and seeing this microphone, I'm not a bit worried it's a bit close to my mouth, so you might be hearing all the breathing and all that stuff, which I think is horrible, but I'll get it sorted. Rome wasn't built in a day. And I say they've at least another week and a half they're predicting. They said we might get showers yesterday. It was full gone rain, belting down. We have that many bikes here. There's the latest one. I'd never trust that, towing your kid on a trailer on a push bike, but at least it gets them out. Queensland, I think I've said before, is really good. It really makes, hardly used a lot of the stuff, but it really does make everything good for its people. Parks are fantastic. And like along here now, they make it very useful. House down our way, a place called Woody Point, real old, decrepit, but I was saying about 10 years ago could have brought it for 150, 160,000, that because it's right on the front, not even a road like this, it's totally on the other side of the road, about 4 of them, and now that's worth a couple of million. Now I don't know whether I'm gonna miss my entrance again. No, here it is. I have to go back into the roads again. So I love the difference between people, like even if I don't like it, because you can only get along with a set amount of people, that's a fact. But the rest, you can love them and think how great it is. I hate violence. I've never been any good at that. I try not to. Always been a bit laid back, walk away from trouble if I could. And most of the time it's done well and managed to avoid it. But where would we be? I hate it, the fact that they are trying to make us all the same. That's no good, because even if I happen to be at the age and ride a motorbike because I'm this age, or at least a few others like me, that's not a problem. But you should let us all have our cultures, and certainly in a place like Australia where it's only developing to a high degree, but it certainly has got one. But it's terrible if it... that's the one thing I'm not so keen on, is that they don't seem to allow our culture. Everyone else's is okay. And but they pick on certain people all the time. That's I think how the world works, and everyone says, oh, it's okay, they're not going to pick on me. But over 50 to 100 years, if you pick on 1% of the population, then you've got them all. In 100 years. Now I think they do it a little quicker. Oh, we've got a boat behind us than that, but well, I'm going to be looking forward to my cup of coffee. There's a lovely new bridge. Where did they get the money from to do that? It's going to cost us a fortune, these floods. I really don't believe it, how much. There's the old bridge. So bridge 1, bridge 2 and bridge 3. That was a fun old bridge, but oh, it was a rattly thing. Notice they're gradually getting higher. Must be a reason for that. Now I don't know where I'll be cutting this video off, so somewhere along here I'll be cutting off. I'll look at the time of it, and that's if it's I never want to edit videos, they're just as they happen, and just try and turn them on somewhere where it can be alright. You can see stuff. But this is certainly a beautiful place. And they're taking that bridge away. It costs them too much to keep it going. Which it's all wooden. So I think it would cost them a fair bit. But that's the worst thing lately, is they are doing so much work on the roads that you keep being brought down to 40 all the time. They've made, which is really good again, in the middle of that bridge, I should have looked over there, they've made a fishing platform so that the people can just walk along, which has got a cycle track on it, and go off and fish in the middle of the water there. Now they're the sort of things, it's unbelievable how good these guys can be. And nearly home, so I was imagine I don't think you'll be seeing this unless I make it to 2 or something or other. So if I haven't said goodbye to you already, I'll say goodbye to you here.